I was standing in the middle of my land, ash sticking to my boots, smoke still clawing at my lungs, staring at the blackened skeleton of my barn. When it finally hit me, my animals were gone. My dog was dead, and the woman responsible wasn't some stranger in the night. It was the president of our HOA smiling like she'd just won an argument. A few days earlier, she'd brought me cookies and asked about my fuel storage. Now my farm was a crime scene. And the worst part was realizing she truly believed nothing would ever touch her. I didn't move out here looking for trouble. That's the thing people always get wrong. They hear HOA drama and imagine someone loud, reckless, always itching for a fight. That wasn't me. I'm Daniel Brooks. Early 40s, quiet by nature, the kind of guy who fixes his own fence, keeps his head down, and minds his business. I bought this land on the edge of a planned community in rural Montana because it was affordable and because the HOA brochure promised hands-off management for agricultural properties. I wanted space silence and something solid I could build with my own hands. A few acres, a modest barn, livestock, and my dog, my shadow, my constant companion. I followed the rules. I read every bylaw twice. I parked where I was allowed, kept my property clean, and stayed invisible. For the first few months, I thought I'd made the right call. Then there was Linda Whitmore. Everyone knew Linda. Mid-50s, perfect hair that never moved, bright eyes that didn't blink often enough, and that clipboard pressed against her chest like a badge of office. She was the HOA president, self-appointed in spirit, if not on paper, and she walked the neighborhood like it belonged to her personally. She didn't knock, she announced. She didn't ask, she instructed. I watched her from a distance at first, the way she fined people for grass being half an inch too long, for trash cans being visible for an extra hour, for curtains she claimed were visually disruptive. HOA meetings weren't meetings, they were performances. Linda talked, everyone else sat quietly, and fines were issued like souvenirs. I learned quickly that the smartest move was to stay off her radar. That worked for about 6 months. Then, for reasons I still don't fully understand, I became interesting to her. It started small, the way these things always do. A notice taped to my gate saying my truck was parked too close to the curb, my curb. A warning about washing my vehicle on a Tuesday because noise carries. A citation claiming my livestock fencing didn't meet aesthetic guidelines, even though agricultural fencing was explicitly exempt. Each time I appealed calmly. I paid nothing. I documented everything. I didn't argue with her in person. I didn't give her the reaction she wanted. I nodded, said thank you, and closed my door. That seemed to irritate her more than open defiance. Linda thrived on control, on watching people bend. Silence confused her. My restraint, I think, felt like a challenge. Neighbors started whispering. They warned me quietly not to cross her. They told stories about people who'd moved out after tangling with Linda, about endless fines, inspections, harassment. I listened. I smiled. I stayed. I wasn't planning revenge. I was learning how power worked in this place. Authority like hers doesn't collapse from noise. It collapses under weight, and Linda was carrying plenty. The real turning point came with her cat. One afternoon, her cat wandered onto my property. That wasn't unusual. Animals roam. The problem was my dog. He was protective trained and usually calm, but when the cat darted toward the barn, something snapped. By the time I got there, it was already over. The cat was injured badly. It later died at the vet. I was sick over it. Genuinely. I went to Linda the same day. I apologized until my throat hurt. I offered to cover every bill, asked what I could do to make it right. I reinforced my fencing. I locked my dog in a heavy-duty cage near the barn, even though it broke my heart to hear him whine at night, confused and loyal and trusting me anyway. Linda listened with her head tilted, her mouth curved into that polite, tight smile that never touched her eyes. She told me accidents happen. She said she was healing. She waved off my offers like they were nothing. Just focus on your farm, she said. I'll handle the rest. I wanted to believe her, so I did. Then everything went quiet. No HOA emails, no fines, no surprise inspections. Linda stopped pacing my fence line. Neighbors said she was grieving that loss changes people. I convinced myself my warning had landed, that maybe this was over. To be safe, I doubled down on precautions. I checked locks, reviewed my cameras, called my insurance agent just in case. I thought vigilance could outrun bad intentions. Looking back, her calm was the loudest warning I'd ever ignored. She started showing up in small, unsettling ways. She dropped off cookies I never touched. She complimented my fencing with strange enthusiasm. She asked questions casual on the surface, invasive underneath. How much fuel did I keep on site? Did I have a generator? Was my water supply well-fed or municipal? Once she stood near my dog's cage, staring longer than felt normal, and asked if it was fireproof. She laughed like it was a joke. I laughed too. I shouldn't have. Other things happened. An HOA surveyor wandered onto my land without permission, claiming he was checking boundaries. Someone loosened the latch on my fuel shed. I blamed the wind. Chance. Coincidence. Linda waved from across the road, friendly as ever. Her performance was flawless. There were nights I sat alone in the kitchen, staring at nothing, feeling that tight knot in my chest, wondering if I was losing it. Maybe I was paranoid. Maybe grief had warped her behavior and mine. I didn't want to be the guy who saw threats everywhere. I wanted peace. So I stuck to routine. Routine, I believed, kept chaos away. The day it happened, I left early to pick up supplies. I was gone less than 3 hours. Halfway back, I saw the smoke. Thick, black wrong. My heart dropped into my stomach. I called the fire department while my foot slammed the accelerator, words tumbling out of me. Coordinates, landmarks, anything to get them there faster. Sirens promised help, but flames don't wait. When I reached my gate, panic took over. Livestock were scattering, some already burning, others collapsing in blind terror. Heat punched the air from my lungs. I ran through smoke, coughing, throwing dirt, water, anything I could grab. That's when I saw her. Linda stood near the fuel shed, a red gasoline can in her hand, watching the fire like it was a sunset. Our eyes met. She didn't run. She didn't look surprised. She smirked. The sound of the fire swallowed everything else. Then I heard it, my dog. His cage was engulfed, flames wrapping the metal bars. I charged forward, hands blistering, vision blurred by smoke. The lock glowed red. He howled once, then nothing. Something inside me broke in a way I still can't put into words. I fell to my knees in the ash, sobbing while my life burned around me. The firefighters arrived too late to save much. They did what they could, hoses roaring, lights flashing. My cameras kept recording quietly, steadily capturing everything Linda thought the fire would erase. By nightfall, the smoke lingered like a bad memory. Officers asked questions. I answered mechanically. Linda was gone. Neighbors gathered, whispering, filming, shaken. Insurance forms, evidence bags, timelines piled up around me. That night, sitting in the dark, I felt empty. Not angry yet, just hollow. I kept thinking maybe this was my fault. Maybe if I'd moved sooner. Maybe if I'd fought her harder. I thought about selling what was left and disappearing. I thought about how tired I was, how easy it would be to let this bury me. Then I checked the footage. Every odd question, every smile, every breadcrumb, it was all there. Linda entering my land, pouring gasoline, igniting multiple points, leaving calmly. Rage didn't explode out of me. It settled in steady and cold. I backed everything up, logged timestamps, handed it over. Investigators returned with a different energy. Traffic cameras matched her route. Fuel station receipts placed her minutes before the fire. Phone location data sealed it. When they arrested her, she didn't scream. She didn't cry. She looked confused, like the rules had changed without her permission. The legal process was relentless. Charges stacked fast: aggravated arson felony, animal cruelty, destruction of agricultural property, reckless endangerment. Bail was denied the moment the judge saw the video. Forensic accountants calculated losses down to the last fence post. Restitution orders followed numbers so precise they felt surgical. Her house was seized, accounts frozen, wages garnished. The criminal sentence came down hard: 14 years in state prison, mandatory minimum, before parole, lifetime bans from HOA leadership, animal ownership, property management. The HOA itself imploded under subpoenas. Insurance pulled out. The board dissolved. Court-supervised elections replaced the regime she'd built on fear. I stood on my land again weeks later, soot still staining the soil, silence heavy around me. I didn't feel victorious. I felt finished. Finished pretending restraint was weakness. Finished doubting my own instincts. Linda chose fire. The system answered with permanence. Power doesn't make you untouchable. It just gives you a longer fall.